Hello, welcome to the Pint podcast, where our powers pish, but our pints aren't. To introduce ourselves, I'm Caden, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dino.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode. Today, we have two very special guests. The legendary Andy from the Badger Shelf, otherwise known as Badger on this shelf sometimes, and the wonderful Ken the Zombie.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there. Good to be back, boys.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I have a bottle with me instead of a tin, sadly, so the audio
Sacrilege.
will be I know, a little bit different, but I'll open this just now.
Right. So, there's this little discussion we were having on Discord yesterday. I think Andy knows about it. I'm not sure about the other two. I interjected into one of the channels saying Jackbox has banned the word "cum."
Oh my.
Travesty.
And it's just got to riot. Got to get petitions and stuff like that on the go. I have that. Not at all.
Everyone
Come
gets
on now.
Oh, very good, Ken.
Fuck's sake.
But
It's absolutely bizarre to me because the very nature of the game,
Yeah.
it's people playing with people they know. You know?
yeah.
And as we proved in the chat, banning one word is completely pointless when you can have 50 to 60 variations on the word.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
Dr. Malcolm says in Jurassic Park. Life finds a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're not allowed to say this anymore. Oh, really? Watch this. Hold
Just
my
get
beer.
creative with it. Put love juice.
I think one of my favourite ones that I'd seen and I put down was high fructose corn syrup.
Oh my.
Yeah, that was a good one, that one.
But yeah, that went on for quite a bit of time in that chat. Almost the entire duration of me going to get my booster jab. So it was a good
very
time.
highbrow chat.
Yeah, good way to waste those 15 minutes. Yeah. You boys, not Andy, but have you boys got any other synonyms for cum?
Synonyms.
Yeah.
What was it called again? Come back to me.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, I did.
Did you actually know?
I didn't even mean that. No, I was being serious. I was trying to remember.
Aye.
Oh,
There'll be absolutely tons, though. It's like... It's not the worst thing in the world, just because there is so many other words you could use. Spooge.
I think I'm thinking of man gravy. That's about it.
man gravy.
Lamb chowder. Yeah. Very weird tangent.
You know, the one that cracked me up the most was gender fluid.
Yes.
Oh my days.
Definitely sent Eddie into a fucking state, that one.
Yeah.
Here we go. I've got a few for you.
Oh.
You ready to hear some more synonyms?
Sure, go on.
Baby batter.
Yes.
Oh.
Chode nectar. Clam sauce.
Sake.
Are we allowed to say explicit words on this podcast?
Oh yeah, it's
Cock droplets.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Where are we? Daddy sauce. Dong water. Okay, this is my favorite so far. Erectoplasm.
Yep,
Fuck.
that's one of the ones that was in the tangent.
Was, yeah. I was just going through that chat just now just to pick out my favourite ones.
I've got a list in front of me of some of them just don't make any sense. One's like jam, honey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pineapple jam.
The also famous jizz of Jackbox band jizz.
I'll find out right now.
Cause
Yeah.
I think the darkest one that came out of it was Savil's Secret Sauce.
if
I wonder who came up with that one.
Some sick bastard, I'm sure.
There's already enough Savile talk on your podcast.
he's very in just now with that film coming out.
Oh God. Who's playing him again?
Alan Partridge.
Shit.
holy shit.
Yeah.
What a good casting
That's
choice.
Bit bold of him.
Very bold.
That one's got to do it.
I mean, I am of the opinion that the story needs told as long as they do it properly.
Yeah. Absolutely. But with the cum topic out of the way, because we're gonna be saying cum a lot on this podcast simply for the fact you can't say cum on Jackbox anymore. So
Easy come, easy go.
yeah. So if you want to get your cum out of your way, just leave it in the comments.
That's like a badly scripted porno, this.
Yes, with that out of the way, we'll move on to our topic today, being worst movies. And these movies could just, like, in our opinion, be bad. Like, you didn't like them, worst, or they can just be like the worst, regardless if you think it's a guilty pleasure or not. Like, you have to acknowledge it is a bad film. Like, I think some people like they will watch and enjoy The Room, but it is genuinely a horrible film.
That is a film I have been meaning to watch for a while, actually.
Ah. You know, watched it in full and just seen like a few clips.
Yeah. I was watching the rooftop clip recently, and it's even more like I remembered seeing clips and thinking this is gonna be the worst film I've ever seen in my life. And it's been years since then. I saw that high mark again. Jesus Christ.
I think it cut out when the film was mentioned because I never got it.
Oh, The Room.
The Room.
Oh, The Room. I haven't seen it.
Good thing.
And I'm taking this as warning not to.
No, you should. You definitely should experience this film.
You know what you're doing to me right now, Dylan? What you are doing is the equivalent of when you're out for dinner and someone goes, "Oh my god, this tastes like shit. Here, try some."
It is one of those films, though, that is regarded as absolute trash.
It's not happening.
Everybody suggests watching it just for the experience.
Exactly. It's that bad. Like, everything's done so poorly. The acting, the audio, the scenes. It's just actually outrageous.
Like, your man who directed it, the guy that plays the main character, or had wrote the story for it, he intended it to be a completely serious movie, but people always, in like the live screenings for it, would laugh at it, and he would get so fuming because it's not a comedy. That's how poorly made it was. He doesn't understand it. Doesn't understand filmmaking, really. And then
did not hit her. I did not.
And of course, James Franco did like almost like a remake of it, or at least like a biopic almost.
The Disaster Artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've also watched that in full. And even that I didn't enjoy because of how bad The Room is to start with. But he does a really good job, James Franco, as playing Tommy in it.
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
It is weird. But to list an actual movie, because that's a movie I haven't watched, so I can't really say it's the worst movie, but I know it's bad secondhand.
Mm.
But something I have watched that I do truly think is an awful movie that shouldn't be watched is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Wow.
Oh no.
And that Shyamalan really fucked it on that one. That's the twist. He made it bad.
That is the twist, that he took something that literally everyone thought you couldn't make a bad film out of and made it into a massive pile of steaming horse shit.
Shivers.
Yeah, it was pretty. They missed the mark completely.
Like, for one, the pacing of the film is just complete ridiculousness. Going through things where you don't get enough time to build on anything, really. Two, all the bending scenes, it's just like all the bending just seems completely slow, too slow for combat. Like, it doesn't seem practical at all, and it doesn't look that epic either.
Like
Yeah.
what I loved about the original animated series was like how it was almost made into dance moves, right? But they've kind of taken that a bit too far in the movie, where literally like to make a tiny like bit of flame or air move or water move requires like a fucking 30-second dance.
Yeah,
And
like
the logistics of it just doesn't make any sense.
it's when the Fire Nation was up against the Earthbenders, and like there's a group of like 3 Earthbenders, right? And they're all doing this like same dance, and then it goes on for like 10 seconds or so, and then you see this small bit of rubble flying towards the Firebenders, going really slowly, and you're just like, what? What? It's really, it's funny every time I see it.
Effort just to pick up a rock and throw it at them.
Just get a brick.
My ultimate earthbending technique: brick in a sock.
I reckon if Toph or any of the Sandbenders were to be like in the second movie, all they'd have to do is just have pocket sand, because you'd be far more practical with that than you actually would be bending in that universe.
Yeah.
Then there's like the changing of the races as well. Like, what was it? Changing the Fire Nation from being Japanese because of the whole honor code and that to the same race as M. Night Shyamalan is, I'm pretty sure. Because none of them are like Japanese anymore in that film, which takes away from the thematics of it being about honor and all that. That's the whole point of Fire Lord Ozai.
Oh, I just don't think there was a single part of it that's a saving grace.
Yeah. Like how Aang was casted simply because he was a kid that didn't know some sort of martial arts, but he was a terrible actor.
Mm.
Aye. Avatar: The Last Airbender. If it had been a tiny bit more successful, we probably would have seen a second film, and I fear for that alternative future. Or timeline, sorry.
It's the darkest timeline.
Yeah, is this this is like what 10 odd years ago this came out?
Oh, like 11. Almost 12 actually. 2009.
Was it? I've managed to avoid this film.
You should watch it.
Yeah.
Aye, for the experience, yeah.
yeah, maybe. Just the experience.
Makes the room seem good.
You can make anything seem good.
Aye. Any of you's got a really bad movie?
I mean, there's classic ones. I think I've talked on my own podcast plenty about the absolute horrendousness that is Eragon.
God.
Yeah, I remember you chatting about this with Dave.
I mean, it should have been the beginning. It should have been a great film to start a great saga.
Mm.
And instead we just got an absolute metaphorical kick in the shin.
Really boring, wasn't it?
Yes. The whole film had the problem that got the intense impression that none of the actors gave a shit about the story. So because it on the screen is like, oh, what's the point? How on earth can you expect any of the audience to care any more than that?
Yeah. They've all just got that attitude that they're polishing a turd.
Yeah. And it's not even like, well, there's a lot of sort of no-name actors in it, but there's some big names as well. It just makes absolutely no sense. But
sometimes
they changed everything from the original book. Like they changed it far too much. Even if it had made enough money, if it was received well enough to make a sequel, they'd changed so much that they couldn't have followed any of the following books for sequels. So they'd be making it all up themselves.
Not very good at all.
It always goes to shit with that.
I don't have any knowledge. It's film. Luckily, like what's the general like basis?
Basically, a young man finds a dragon egg, hatches it. A dragon grows exponentially, which is just more down to them rushing through the film. The kid can now use magic with some very weird and inconsistent rules, and fights the big bad guy whose motivations are never really looked into. And it sounds
like it should be a good story.
Yeah.
But I think I've probably gone more in depth on the actual plot than the film does.
Yeah. That happens.
Like the books themselves are like widely loved by anyone that's actually read them.
Imagine.
I mean, from what you described, it sounds like it should be a good film. But
yeah, completely should be.
That it was never delivered as such.
A good book series, then.
Yeah. Like, films should never be about the concept of it being good rather than the execution of it.
Yeah.
Film just riles me up so much.
Alright. Speaking of films that rile people up and built hopes and expectations and just left them to crash and burn into a fiery mess. Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh my god.
A film that should have had an unbelievable amount of hype behind it, considering the franchise it was coming from, considering the fan base that franchise has. And then we get delivered what we got delivered. Goku that's not Goku. Piccolo that's
sort of Piccolo?
I don't fucking know what, but nothing. It was nothing like it. Or Zaru that's basically just Bigfoot. And without a bloody tail, you know, the most important part of Goku's character and race. That they need a tail to transform into that. Oh, not this one. It just... I mean, there's the whole thing that Goku's not interested in women or the normal necessities of life. He's purely interested in fighting and becoming, like, as strong as he can become.
Yeah, they made him horny. The number one rule.
And that's just not present in the film. He only tries to get strong out of a necessity. Is that?
That's just the number one rule. Goku ain't horny.
Yeah. And in the film, he seems to just train out of necessity to try and beat Piccolo at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And he obviously falls head over heels with Chi-Chi in the film, which is completely and utterly the wrong way round. I'm wondering if they were avoiding that for sexist reasons. But, I mean... There's a way of doing it without flipping. You know what I mean? They could have just made her exactly the way she was, but also made Goku more just passive about that whole side of things. They tried to Americanize it, and it just was disgustingly bad.
I think the universal law so far is if America gets their hands on an anime for live action reasons, it will always fail. Unless it's Speed Racer.
Yeah. 100%.
Because that reminds me of another awful fucking failure of an anime live action film. The 2017 Death Note. That was. Only saving grace of that is Willem Dafoe. And
yeah. I think
that man, like, his shoulders must be killing him from the amount of films he's tried to carry.
Oh, definitely.
Like, I think the Americans should just like celebrate the fact they had Last Airbender and quit while they're ahead.
yeah.
Because they don't mix well with anime.
Even then, a lot of the animation wasn't even done by then. I'm pretty sure it was sourced from Korea.
Yeah, I mean they're the storyline though.
Yeah. I think with a lot of the Avatar Last Airbender story, they did actually travel and learn a lot about culture, rather than just, try and translate it into something else that it isn't. There's a lot of problems that westernized stuff has. Like, I think Ghost in the Shell had a big problem. Like I think Ghost in the Shell's main character in Japan is all about how does a robot have spirituality? Like, how does a robot go about feeling, or like an android goes about feeling? And I think the westernized version of it is just like, we've got Scarlett Johansson, enjoy.
Yeah,
There's funnily enough, ironically, no soul in that movie.
Yeah.
It's just a cash grab at that point.
I think Dragon Ball films like.
Have you ever watched Dragon Ball Z, Dylan?
No, it's more like the odd famous scene. I think it's like hated by pretty much the whole fan base because it is probably one of the most popular ones there is, and like the fan base is quite passionate about it too.
Yeah, man, it fell disgustingly short.
Wait, I think if there's a letter from the director, he basically like apologized.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do you know what's the worst part, right? He probably had people around him at the time telling him, sorry, letting the dog down. He probably had people around him at the Can I take a 2-second thing? I'll remember what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think she needs a drink, but there's some stuff around the flat I can't let her get her teeth on. 2 seconds. I know it's not the obvious.
Let her pause on it. Anyway.
I've kind of heard the leaked audio files from the actresses.
Oh, I don't know if he has. Oh,
that's.
I don't know. Andy, have you heard of? I think it's the English voices of the Dragon Ball cast. They had some clips leaked where, like, an example is Goku's English voice actor has been recorded, and it got leaked of him saying, "Gohan, you're such a fag, Gohan. You're such a fag." And like, there's plenty other ones as well, like Chi-Chi, the mother of Gohan, saying explicitly sexual things about her own son. So, yeah.
The best one's clearly.
Oh my god.
The character's name.
Hercule.
Hercule.
Mr. Satan. What is it? My gorgeous cock. It's just so weird hearing these characters sound exactly, it's obviously like exact character voices saying these absurd things.
Right, boys, I am back.
Whoa.
Right. You let me pick up where I left off?
Wait, I found the letter. From the director apologizing for the film.
Yeah. So the worst part is he probably had people around him who's seen the franchise telling him, "No, this is a really bad idea. No, this is a really bad idea. No, this is a really bad idea," and just completely ignored it because he's the big bad director.
And realistically, he probably got fired.
What's that? Yeah.
Like someone went, I don't think we should do it this way. You're fired. What do you think? Yeah, boss. Anything you say, boss.
and then it bombs at the box office, and then you know what I mean? It's the biggest "I told you so." I can only imagine the amount of hate that must have been mailed in to him or whoever it goes to about how bad the movie was.
Aye. The letter, I'll read it out, says, I knew that it would eventually come down to this one day. Dragon Ball Evolution marked a very painful creative point in my life. To have something with my name on it as the writer be so globally reviled is gut-wrenching. To receive hate mail from all over the world is heartbreaking. I spent so many years trying to deflect the blame, but at the end of the day it all comes down to the written word on page, and I take full responsibility for what was such a disappointment to so many fans. I did the best I could, but at the end of the day, I dropped the Dragon Ball.
Wrong.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
He had to make a pun at the end there, didn't he?
Of course.
Looking at the box office, they made 28.2 million in profit. It didn't exactly bomb, sadly.
Was there
Is there what?
was there not I say a couple of years ago now, Dragon Ball film that came out?
Oh,
You're probably thinking of like Resurrection F.
no,
was-
he's Broly. He was thinking of Broly.
Oh yeah, Broly.
Oh, Broly. Yeah.
Is that not pretty well liked?
That is universally. In fact,
Yeah, but that's
even old fans loved it.
Oh.
isn't that like the actual creators though?
Yeah, that's actual creators. Like it's done in a different style from the usual stuff. I think that it's done Shintani style, which is like is an animator. But the writers constantly change, but it's like the same studio. It'll be no, it's Toei. It'll be Toei that does it. They're also responsible for like One Piece movies as well. One Piece in general.
Toei Animation.
So like I think Resurrection of F and Battle of Gods were done by the same director, but Broly wasn't. But yeah, it's a very well liked film. But let's stop talking about good films. Dylan, have you got a bad
Yeah.
film?
Back onto bad films. Yeah, do you know what? So in general, I'm quite like a fan of really, really shit films. But sometimes there's bad films that I'm just like, what? Like, why? How? My pick's actually quite recent. I know you've seen it, Caden. But Ken and Andy, have you seen Red Notice? Came out not long ago, actually.
No,
It is definitely one that I want to watch, and I've heard so many bad things, but I still want to watch it.
Yeah.
I've not heard anything about it. I've just seen it
Cool.
kind of advertised on Netflix. I haven't even watched the trailer.
Yeah. So it seems I'll try and avoid as many spoilers as possible. It seems like a film that would be really good, especially based off the cast, because you've got The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and then Gal Gadot as well. So when I seen this, I was like, oh, this should be really, really good. So I had such high hopes for it, only to be absolutely let down by the quality of the writing and just like I didn't feel connected to the characters at all in any way. It just seemed like they threw The Rock and Ryan Reynolds in and they played themselves as they do. But even like the jokes I thought wasn't like that funny. It was just them kind of bantering between each other. Like the comedy wasn't like too great. There was a point where the classic Wilhelm scream appears, and it's just like, oh my god. And yeah, like it's just the whole thing. The further it went on, the more I was like, what is this film?
It had a very good opening,
Hmm.
I would say. It had a good start, then it just went downhill.
What's it
There's
actually
the-
about though? Like, what's the basic plot?
In its essence, it's sort of like a heist movie. Almost.
Synopsis.
Yes. So it's The Rock plays an FBI agent who's pursuing world's most wanted art thief, who is Ryan Reynolds, and the whole story is kind of based off the art thief trying to get the art, and then him stopping him.
Is this not just
There's
like?
a bit more to it than that as well.
Is this not just a regurgitation of Catch Me If You Can?
I haven't seen it.
With
Hello.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Is it Leonardo DiCaprio? Or is it Matt Damon? You're not long.
A rage question.
There was like a couple redeeming parts I found. One of them being
Gal Gadot.
well, of course, always. But no, there's two separate scenes in the film in which they're having a drink. Okay, and the first scene, the drink gets handed to, I can't even remember their names in the film. I just know them as them. Ryan Reynolds gets handed to him, and I'm pretty sure I found out this after that drink is his own. What's his own brand called again? Aviation Gin.
Hmm.
The Ryan Reynolds' own gin. They actually chucked into the scene. I think if you look, you might see the bottle. And then in the other scene, The Rock's having a drink, and that drink is his own tequila, his own brand tequila, which was just like a nice little nod. And yeah, there was a bit towards the end as well. It's actually kind of humorous, and I think you'll know.
I can't even remember. I'm trying to block it from my memory.
Particular character.
I still can't mind.
Anyway, you'll need to see that film and gauge your own views, because I do know some people that have enjoyed it. But yeah,
Aye.
Maybe give it a watch.
Yeah, like I say, it's one I was planning on watching, just because I find the two of them funny.
yeah.
Aye.
I think my expectations are.
Your expectations.
Sorry, Kate, I didn't catch that.
I was saying I couldn't catch you that. What was your expectations?
Oh, as I said, my expectations were incredibly low.
Aye. Not a lot of Netflix films have me going into that.
Which sometimes means you're more likely to enjoy a film. Yeah.
Yeah. True. To bring up another, is that in fact a franchise of films that make me so very angry at how soulless they are, is the Bayformers films.
Yeah.
Give me a second there. I was like, the what now?
Still haven't watched the last few.
I keep forgetting there's 5.
Yeah.
When there really should only have been one.
The trilogy's perfect. Long live
Aye.
Shia LaBeouf.
Aye, it's fucking opposite day. Fucking. I don't like going into movies and only seeing fucking
I don't know. I kind of like
sunflowers
those
in my
Transformers
eyes.
films. I don't think they were too bad.
Quite enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
Although that said, the whole way through the film, watching it the first time, I was looking at Optimus and thinking, "It's something not right. There's something not right. It just doesn't fit." And then right at the last battle, where the mouth armor slides up, I went, "Oh yeah, sword."
Aye. A moving mouth Optimus just doesn't look right. No. Generally, like, especially after Mark Wahlberg got introduced, it just completely, like, there's no redemption for those films at all.
Yeah, I did not like the Mark Wahlberg ones. To be honest,
Specifically for Mark Wahlberg.
I think I only watched.
Didn't mind them.
But no, like, obviously they're big budget films, and that's a good saving grace for like the general person will go and watch them because it looks nice to look at. But the story, a lot of the story pieces don't make sense. A lot of characters just killed off for shock value, and there's just no like character arcs really. I don't think enough for you to care.
Yeah. Well, having said that, I didn't mind Mark Wahlberg. The whole protective fucking daddy plot was a bit
I
terrible.
mean, what was it in the fourth film? Like the daughter's boyfriend is a couple of years older, and she's 17 or 16, which in that state legally makes him a pedophile. There's that.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Who's that?
That's pretty.
Yeah, there's quite like a large focus on the humans rather than the Transformers.
Yeah.
By any chance, is it the same director that's doing the Jimmy Savile film?
That.
Well, if there's explosions, then yes. And the sunflares, don't forget the sunspot for fucking in your eyes, because that's what Michael Bay wants to do to you. Blind you.
That's like 101 of how to make a bad shot look good.
Aye.
Yeah,
Aye, but at least with that fifth film, like there was another Transformers film that came out that isn't Bayformers at all. It's like a soft reboot, or at least a hard reboot. Is Bumblebee. That was really good.
yes, that was good.
I
I
actually
haven't
had
actually seen that one yet. Yeah.
I've got the DVD for it as well. If you want to
Oh, wow.
watch it?
Still haven't watched it.
It was good.
It's a phenomenal film. Actually has good character writing, character arcs. The characters are likable. The designs are good. That's the other thing I hate about Bayformers. All the fucking robot designs look like you can't distinguish most of them because they look so mechanical and ass. There's no colours. All the Decepticons look pretty much the same. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a kind of specific look to both of them. They've kind of just tried to do the symbols in the faces, and that's it.
Symbols, colours, and that.
You're like, like how they've tried to make everyone's face shape the same as the symbols by the looks of it.
Aye.
As opposed to actually just giving them their own characters. Not giving them their own characters, but focusing more on how they look as individuals.
Yeah. Optimus and Bumblebee are the only two sort of well-designed characters, just because you can tell who they are based on colours and general size and that. Yeah,
If I remember correctly, with 4 and 5, did they not kind of? I can't mind who it was, what the name is, but Megatron. They were kind of like, oh no, this isn't Megatron. Oh no, it's a completely different villain, and then they backtrack. Yes,
Galvatron.
They try to do the Galvatron thing from the old movie, the old 80s movie, but that also had one of the worst transformation sequences I've ever seen.
Right.
Aye, Bayformers can get in the bin. Long live the new Bumblebee reboot series that hopefully continues. I highly recommend it.
I need to give that a watch.
Any other bad films, boys?
Well, I'm usually one of the first people to jump in and defend the last 3 Star Wars films.
Yeah.
But my God. They started on the wrong foot and then just kept sliding downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say that it's probably the best first movie of the trilogy.
No.
A lot of people thought that Force Awakens was quite good.
A lot of people have thought a lot of things in the past have been right, but they've been. From a personal standpoint, it did not feel like Star Wars. It felt like a reboot, if you will, rather than a continuation.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm a bit of a weirdo. I do this thing where I can look at a film and treat it as if it's its own thing. So I liked them, but in terms of the entire Star Wars, what's the word for 9?
Chronology.
The three trilogies, I thought was the weakest by far.
The Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Skywalker. They just, I don't know. It just didn't hit the same as the old ones. I think it's because the old ones kept it simple.
Yeah, Yeah.
I'm one of these heathens that I'm not a big Star Wars fan at all. And when I seen all three trilogies, I preferred the newest trilogy just out of entertainment value alone.
It had a big budget, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think the new trilogy, like any of them, were like superb films at all. I just out of like purely entertainment value, I enjoyed them. And then the prequels, I enjoyed just because of the really good like lightsaber battles. But like the first movie, all being like all political and shit, just didn't. It wasn't. It was weird. What was
Oh,
it? Phantom.
like the prequel trilogy is just awful.
Yeah.
Like you could edit those 3 films down into one decent film.
Ready for some controversy? I like the first film, Star Wars 1, Phantom Menace.
Pacing in it was a bit awful though, to be honest. It could have been faster.
I'm not gonna. I won't argue
Yeah.
because I can
You
totally
know
understand.
it's trash.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just hits what I like.
As I
And I think
said,
it's because
Jar
it was
Jar.
the first film to like introduce the proper choreographed lightsaber duels.
yes. Which the fucking sequels didn't fucking want to
Darth
do
Jar.
for some reason. The annoying thing about the new trilogy. There wasn't any like really outstanding lightsaber fight at all.
Really?
Not
I
really
thought
at all.
The
Not the throne room ones, because I'm talking more of like a duel rather than like they're using lightsabers
Yeah.
against normal folk.
suppose
People want to see lightsaber on lightsaber action.
the one in front of us was definitely top tier.
Aye. Speaking of the new trilogy, actually, there was talks of Jon Favreau working on like a reboot to that trilogy and reworking them.
They could.
The first one.
No, all three of the new trilogy, like making a completely new trilogy.
Oh, I'd be down to see that.
Yeah, I think Favreau would do a good job with it.
Can't really do a worse job.
Especially as he's
I mean, you can't.
fucking. Oh, he's working Mandalorian and he's doing a good job with that.
Aye.
Mandalorian is superb. I'm looking forward to the
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett.
I fully expected that to be a forceful watch on myself.
Pun intended.
Wow.
Fuck's sake.
But yeah, no. I think it was after the first episode, I was hooked. I was like, oh my god, this is not what I expected, and it is banging.
Mhm.
It's just good to be introduced to like another new part of the Star Wars franchise in
Yeah.
a nice, non-bloody forceful way. Like,
Aye.
I feel like they tried to do too much in that in the newest trilogy, and it just a lot of stuff didn't make sense.
Obviously, I think the biggest point of why the trilogy didn't really feel all that connected as well, or could have been more simple, as you were saying, is because of the constant director changes throughout the film.
Yeah, it's just I can't mind which. I maybe need to rewatch them, but it just feels like such an abrupt change between each film in terms of its style, pacing, and it
Exactly.
doesn't tie in well together.
Because of the director changes, that's exactly why they didn't like
Yeah.
mold.
If you gave all 3 to either one, it could have been fairly decent.
I'm just sick of seeing people like take franchises that have been successful in the past and gone, let's do a continuation of that because it worked well in the past and it'll work well for us. Yeah, it will if you follow the principles of why it worked, rather than going, let's put our own ideas in, and just because it's Star Wars themed, people will love it. No, it's not how it works.
Forget originality. Is everybody excited for the Willy Wonka series?
No.
Oh,
Why? Why must they do this? Is it the first?
Oh, you've upset me, Caden.
Oh, yep, that's been in the works. I think it's going to release soon, so that's going to be horrible.
Yeah, the new trilogy. When I first watched them, and like every time I've seen them in cinemas, I do think they're enjoyable. I still love them, but it's when you like kind of deep it a bit more, you look into like a lot more stuff. It's like some of it's just for writing and goes against kind of
Yeah.
like the way they did Luke was just questionable. Like him throwing the lightsaber. Like you've literally used an entire film getting to that point. Just launches it and then drinks some fucking steam milk.
It's blue milk, actually.
It's blue. I wasn't
They
sure.
tried to add in loads of cute animals, loads of interesting robots and stuff, but it was too much. Do you know what I mean? Rather than having like one particularly interesting thing, they've tried to like just sprinkle it everywhere and go, "Oh, this will make people love it."
Oh, it's like a cast version of Flanderization, where you know what Flanderization means.
No.
Basically, in essence, if something goes on long enough, said a cast of characters will become less individuals and more just based on their big traits. So, like,
yeah, the best example is the one it's named after. Like, if you look at really old episodes of The Simpsons, Ned Flanders actually has a personality.
yeah. And in this
And then the
case,
furthest mindless religion slave.
yes. And in this case, instead of it being individual characters, like, they're doing it to settings and, like, animals and, like, robots. They're just, like, throwing shit at the screen and hope people buy into it.
What you just said there to me reminded me of one of my biggest issues with the latest Toy Story film.
I haven't seen it.
Have you not?
Because I started, somebody said they'd watch it with me, and it's been almost a year later.
Yeah. Oops.
Well, I mean, it's not really a spoiler. It's more just how a character acts. If that makes sense. So Buzz Lightyear has been like, basically he's thick as fuck in the last film.
He's
out of
also
nowhere.
dumb.
He's what?
He's also dumb.
Oh my. Yeah. Basically, in the fourth film, they've dumbed him down big time. Big time. And it does. It's just. It's like we're now in our fourth film in this franchise, and you've just decided to randomly make him stupid.
Fuck's sake.
Like it doesn't tie in well at all. And personally, I feel they should have left it as a third film.
Yeah.
Like, quit while you're ahead. It was a beautiful ending to the film.
Yeah.
And about moving on and everything, and you just tried to milk the cash horse. Cash horse, is that the cash cow? That's the one.
Just beat the dead horse
Milking
and
it.
cash cow together.
I should have got it from milking. That it wasn't a bloody horse.
Milk a horse if you try hard enough.
No, that's
not milk you
Steve-O
get
and Johnny
out of that
Knoxville.
horse.
Is man milk?
Yeah.
They're the ones that drank horse. I can't remember that.
Wait, who? Sorry, I lagged there.
So yeah.
I said, tell that to Steve-O and Johnny Knoxville.
Oh god. Oh no, that was Bam and Ryan. No, who's the guy that's died again?
Dunn. Yeah, Ryan Dunn.
Ryan Dunn. It was them.
I nearly spewed watching that. Yes.
Well, on the topic of Buzz, that new
I thought you were going to say on the topic of cum, like it's.
We're
Just
back.
start talking about it
we're
again.
back,
Oh, God.
baby. Yeah, on the topic of Buzz, that there was that new trailer that was released for his like solo film of the actual character or something like that. Did any of you seen that?
Yeah,
No.
I've seen the trailer for that.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I'm slightly intrigued, I have to admit.
Who is it they're getting to voice?
Oh,
Buzz again?
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. Yeah, they purposely avoided like any audio from Buzz in that trailer because people would riot. I think it said one word or like two, like right at the very end, and that was it.
Oh, was it to Infinity?
It could be worse. They could just had Chris Pratt in.
Oh yeah, he's already in 2 animated films coming up. Rick. I actually can't fathom why, like, not even like 2 months, like not really even a big gap, they've decided to announce he's voicing two iconic characters, of which he sounds nothing like. I don't know if you've heard that, Ken.
Sorry, I was putting a blanket on the doggo. Say it again.
Chris Pratt, quite recently, has announced he's voicing two iconic
And he's cut out.
He's voicing two iconic characters, Mario and Garfield.
Now Chris Pratt.
It's like,
see, this is where Hollywood's so fucking unbelievably dense that they think, Chris Pratt's a popular actor, let's get him in. Instead of like trying to get someone who suits the character.
Well, for example,
in
the Mario cast,
you're just oversaturating him.
The guy that's voicing the actual Mario in the games and all that, and I don't know if he's on the show, but like the guy that normally does the voice in the games is going to be a cameo in the film. At that point, I'm just like, get the guy to voice the fucking character.
Yeah, people would much rather that. It's it really annoys me when they see something successful and they just try and repeat and repeat and repeat. Like, that was successful, and it must be because of Chris Pratt. I mean, he's a fantastic actor. He really is. But if you start putting him in everything,
yeah,
then he's going to lose. He's going to lose what people love about him.
Yeah. And
he's not caring because he's getting paid for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. It's even funnier because there's a show Chris Pratt was in, which had a much better choice for Garfield. Ron from Parks and Rec.
I have not watched Parks and Rec.
You probably would have seen a clip.
Couldn't get into it.
He's like the older guy with like a mustache, and he's always like he likes fucking steak and that shit, and he sort of sounds like that.
Oh, right, mate. You keep cutting out. I missed half of your thing there.
Aye.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now, about Chris Pratt being in Parks and Rec.
Aye.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. He was also in We're the Millers. The Campaign. Yeah. Doing rakes of things.
Oh, yeah.
Right down you. I don't know if that bark came through or if I might cut it.
No.
No. I'd love to hear it.
Someone closed a door outside and she just went.
Aye. Chris Pratt generalization, eh?
Yeah. No, it's like I said, it's just oversaturating him. And he's gonna. You know what I mean? If he's all you're seeing in the films, or at least in the mainstream sort of popular line of films, he's gonna lose what makes him hit with everyone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, you're not going to be able to invest in him actually being the character while you're watching this film, because you're just going to be like, oh, there's that guy again.
Yeah.
He was in that film Onward, and I actually quite liked him being in it because it wasn't expected and I didn't know beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit, really, really enjoyed Onward.
Fantastical.
Haven't watched it.
Get it watched.
I get it watched.
So help me.
So help me God.
But the thing about where it came from was so help me. There's a terrible film.
Excuse me?
I thought people would be more triggered there. Full disclosure, I'm lying. That was just a ruse to get reactions.
Good. I'd have to kill you.
That fits your name. I killed Kenny. The people that don't know, in the Discord, he's called I Killed Kenny 73. And that's why Ken is now the zombie.
Yep.
Aye. Fun fact, my heart stopped once. That's why we call me a zombie.
Holy shit.
And Andy's reasoning was...
I thought it's because you're brain dead.
He said, so you've died and you've come back to life, and that makes you one of two things. A zombie or Jesus. And he claims my beard isn't cool enough to be Jesus.
Well, to be honest, at the time he didn't have a beard, so...
Yeah. I mean, I do have. I kind of have a Jesus look on the go just now. If I let my hair down.
Jesus 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Gallic Jesus. Viking Jesus. Now what's a movie we need? If we can get Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter the movie, I want Jesus Christ the Viking.
That cut out again.
It's okay, it was a bad joke. But yeah, on my list, there's actually a majority of them are comic book movies, which are famously known to either be hit or miss if they're not MCU.
Oh yeah.
So we've got well, I don't know if it's infamous. It's not really like talked about ever, and shouldn't be talked about ever. Is Catwoman, Halle Berry's Catwoman.
The greatest portrayal of basketball on screen.
Oh, don't remind me. Do not remind me. Last time I seen that many
Worst.
cuts, it was a Bollywood
No,
film.
okay, maybe not. That's a bold claim. The CGI is fucking abysmal. I'm pretty sure the game had better graphics than she did.
Oh, Christ. Because they like revamped the whole character in that film because is she even called Selena Kyle? I can't even mind. I don't even go back just to see. But I do mind that her weird, wacky origin story is that she went like through a sewer pipe and she sort of like got like these cats sort of surrounded her and she sort of unlocked this like inner cat powers, opposed to her just being like a really good gymnast and thief. It's just
Yeah, I think it's tied into some sort of Egyptian mythology, where a cat resurrects her because she gets killed, and yeah, she unlocks like cat powers.
so very boring.
It's
So
just
very bad.
just no.
Yeah, the character was called Patience Phillips.
I had no patience
Oh
for
my
that
God.
film.
Hey.
Another comic book film that I think was, if not average, is just bad, is the Suicide Squad from 2016. That film was
Worst Joker
Dismal.
ever. I don't care what anyone says.
worst ever. Well, in terms of just entertainment, performance, and character, yes. In terms of accurate, technically Heath Ledger.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get that.
But if we're
I
talking
do.
about enjoyment and actual well written, then Jared Leto, I'm sorry, you're in the fucking bin.
Right
Like-
in the bin.
Saying that, fucking
You're gonna bring up Justice League.
lost what I was gonna say. What?
Were you gonna talk about his appearance in Justice League?
No, so like, I get what you're saying about the Heath Ledger Joker, but at least he kind of had an insanity to him where he just enjoyed doing what he wanted to do. With Jared Leto's one, it felt horrifically out of place.
Yeah.
Horrifically. Like the weird snarling that he was doing to your man. The whole like nightclub owner gangster mentality. No. Ain't him. And the fact that he actually gives two shits about Harley. Like, the whole thing is that she's his plaything.
Well,
That's what she is to him.
I think the whole point of him caring about her in that instance is because she's no longer in his grips. Or else, but whenever it's sort of like I think the thing with the Joker is whenever she's in his like area or with him, he doesn't really care about her because like she's here, she's mine, whatever. But when somebody's taken his plaything, that's when he cares. It's his.
I don't know. It just, for me, his I don't even want to say his portrayal because he's obviously just been told how to portray this guy. It just missed the mark completely and utterly. Do you want to talk about a fantastic performance from Jared Leto? Rayon in Dallas Buyers Club. Watch that film if you have not watched that film. There's so many good performances in there.
Something that I really disliked with Jared Leto's design initially was the grill. But as I've through the years, I've sort of understood that it makes sense because Joker's the sort of cunt that gets his teeth knocked out so often. So why not just make it a grill? if he's like sort of a gangster character. So it makes sense, but it doesn't look good. But aye.
It really didn't hit for me at all.
No, it's a good thing after his portrayal we got the best Joker portrayal since Cesar Romero, being Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
You've purposely come to that, haven't you?
No, I know. I'm just saying, like after such a downfall, we got such a good portrayal.
Yeah.
So if you don't already know, Caden is my little brother. He has kindly lent me his steelbook copy of the Joker for a period of just over a year now, I think. I still haven't watched it.
Son of a bitch.
Keep reminding me because I've got time available at the moment, as you know.
We can watch it at Christmas. Do it like a birthday gift to me. I'll gladly rewatch it.
Yeah, my birthday present to you is me watching a film.
Another thing is, like, they're two of my favourite films of all time. One being Joker. I really enjoyed that film. It was a beautiful film. The other being Logan. I really enjoyed that film. There's two people in this fucking podcast that hasn't seen one or the other.
Yeah.
Ken being Joker and Dylan being Logan.
Yeah, dude. I mean, to be honest, though, the fact that Dylan hasn't seen Logan is fucking sacrilege.
It's shocking, actually. Yeah.
It's In fact, I'm just gonna ambush you. I'm gonna get you down here for that Shang-Chi watch party, and I'm gonna put Logan on instead.
I'm sure it's good.
But yeah, the Suicide Squad. Like, it's just the story in it was so. It was too simple. Pacing was sort of like mid, like nothing happening for it to be not too fast nor too slow was weird. Like, I feel like it would have had a better plot if they'd went on like another mission initially, just like get the team to know each other, sort of stuff. It just being like the entirety of it being in that city where nothing is really happening but killing monsters until they get to the Enchantress, I think was very boring. There wasn't much to it. I also feel like the teamwork near the end was very forced.
Hmm.
Yeah. At least the new one's better.
Aye. I'll need to see it at some point.
You will. Top DC. Any views for another movie?
Do you know what I'll throw out there? I'll throw out as a series, Scary Movie. So I really enjoy the first three. I think they're funny, but they are quite bad. Let's be real.
Where are you going with this?
But the ones later on as well.
No, no. Okay, third one I'll give you. The first two are phenomenal. Third one,
Yeah, but they're like purposely like that.
Yeah,
Makes
they're very
they're
tongue in
they're
cheek.
spoof film.
Yeah, like they're not trying to be
No.
classics, you know. But yeah, after like I still quite like the third one, but just it's pushing it. It just goes so far downhill from there.
It's a lot of like. I'm gonna look at my notes just to remind me. Like, a lot of spoof movies in general can be so very, very, and it can be either very minimal for hit and very big for miss. So you've got disaster movies, and like pretty much most parodied movies are like I think the superhero movie with Drake Bell, is it? Or Drake Bell?
I think
That was pretty good. That was pretty funny. Particularly the scene in that where he also uses his sort of like dragonfly sense as he tries to dodge all of the flying things coming at him, and it's every single one hits him in slow motion. It's really funny. But most of these parody movies, like the epic movie, disaster movie, where it's just gone to shit, where the only thing they can bring onto the table is pop culture references, like Kung Fu Panda, the Chipmunks, and all that. Like, there's no substance to the film. Even the humor is just purely pop culture reference. Like look, we've got a scary looking Kung Fu Panda Po. Haha, he dies, haha. There's no actual integrity to the humour, in my opinion.
Yeah. Another one's Meet the Spartans.
Just
Have you seen that?
reminded me. I haven't.
I think when I heard of it, I thought, "Ooh, that could be quite good." And then I can't even remember what it was. I think I saw the trailer, and I thought, I think I'd rather gouge my own eyes out.
I don't think this is a controversial opinion, but I think somebody in here does like it. Sorry, what?
I was just going to say, like, to this day, the only film I've just stood up and walked out in the cinema is Epic Movie.
Oh.
Epic fail. Someone want to tell Alanis Morissette that's what irony is?
I don't get it.
I think she probably had the content explained to her like at least once a week since that film came out. That song came out.
Oh man. Thing is, it's immortalized now as well.
No.
There's there's two movies parodying the Hunger Games, the Hungover Games,
Yeah.
and the Starving Games.
God damn it!
And on the cover of it, of the Hungover Games, I'm pretty sure I see Zach Galifianakis' character from The Hangover, Ted from Ted, Willy Wonka, Thor, and the guy with the glasses from The Hangover, that also the nerdy dentist. He's also on there. It's just what there's another example of like, alright, this is a parody, but we're bringing in completely other like pop culture at the time, try and make it like, I don't know. It's just so very ass. Another one that I didn't mind, but I didn't think was really that good, was Holmes and Watson.
Oh, come on. That was brilliant.
It's sort of like the same as Red Notice, where it's just them playing themselves, rather than any any other characters they could have been.
It was always designed to be another Step Brothers. Like, that was the intention. That's the difference there, is they've not just, accidentally had it come across like that. The whole intention behind it was for it to be Step Brothers, except they're Holmes and Watson because of the obvious, fact that Holmes and Watson are brilliant and they're supposed to be dumb as fuck.
Right. I was just looking at parody movies here, and I think we can all agree the best parody film of all time is Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Oh, yes.
Oh, God, yes.
Yes. It's not a parody, though, is it?
Well, versus Evil.
It's
like
definitely a teen horror movie parody.
The name in itself is almost like Ash versus Evil Dead / just any sort of horror film. Like, another one I know you like is Cabin in the Woods.
Great plot. No, that in itself was a fucking parody. I loved that film.
Yeah.
That's two brilliant films right there. Cabin in the Woods and Tuck and Dale vs. Evil. If you haven't seen them, holy hell, go and watch them. So good.
Very good.
Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is probably one of my favourite films.
Dylan, have you seen Tucker and Dale vs. Evil?
Of course.
We forced him to
We
watch
watched
it when he was still living at Nan's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has everyone here seen Cockneys versus Zombies?
Something I've been meaning to watch.
Oh, God.
Definitely forced Ken to watch it.
Brilliant.
That's a film that's definitely verging on parody.
Seen the trailer.
The trailer's phenomenal.
There's a film I also want to watch called Attack on the Block, and it has John Boyega in it. It's like a 2013, 2011 it came out. Apparently, although it's quite a small budget film and it's not that long, it's quite good. And I quite watch. And the whole idea of it is a bunch of like, sort of like Neds. So delinquent kids are responsible with taking out these like monsters, which honestly have sort of cool designs. They sort of look like completely black. Almost can't really tell what they are apart from their silhouette, and they have like neon blue teeth. They'll just rip you to shred. Basically, it's just a bunch of delinquents doing their hardest to keep their block safe. But there's like character arcs throughout it, which apparently pay off. So I feel like that's. Sorry, other bad films. To-Do List. I don't know if any of you have heard of it.
Yes.
I have
It
not.
stars Aubrey Plaza, known to be in Parks and Recs. Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, cast-wise, it's kind of interesting.
It's got Bill Hader in it.
And
That bird from Arrested Development. Can't remember her name. But basically, the general synopsis of the film is this sort of like, I think nerdy. She might be a Christian girl. But basically, Aubrey Plaza's character of being like this innocent girl, just getting out of high school, just graduated, as basically wants to fuck this guy she meets at a party, like a really hot guy, but she is a complete virgin and has done nothing, not even kissing. So after, I think, discussion, she makes a to-do list full of like so many things. Like one of them was just finger banging or get finger banged, and she plans to find people to like do these things to her to gain experience, so she can not just be like a complete klutz when she tries to go for this hot guy. But the acting in it, the jokes in it, just the general like the way the film goes, it's pretty
film.
ass. It's really hit or miss with a lot of this humor. There's an entire poop in the pool scene, and you can imagine how that goes.
Aye. Fucking hell. I for some reason enjoyed the film, even though I fully well know just how shit it is. But the cast, I've got a list up here. Aubrey Plaza, Bill Hader, Rachel Bilson, Johnny Simmons. You've got Andy Samberg, Clark Gregg, Donald Glover, your guy, I don't even know how you pronounce his name, plays as McLovin. There's a fair few familiar faces in there.
Wasn't there the guy from Kick-Ass, the weird like villain kid?
From Kick-Ass.
Yeah, like in both films.
Yeah, he was the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Aye.
He was in that. He's pretty much
What
the
was he
same
called
in every
before
film.
that?
He's in.
Red Mist.
Yes, it was Red Mist. Those are good parody films. Well, they're not parody really, but like they sort of are on the genre. Comic is Kick-Ass is sort of like before all the fucking like hardcore like we were actually like an R-rated comic book superhero cartoon like Invincible and all that other shit like The Boys is. We had Kick-Ass, which is sort of like a coming to age story about this kid who gets just a fucking what was it, the shit beat out of him, or he was hit by a car.
He got the living bejesus kicked out of him.
And he gained like metal implants for surgery, and he can take hits.
Yeah, his nerve endings were like all fucked.
Couldn't feel pain anymore.
Didn't he also have metal platings in his chest and all that as well?
I'll be honest, it's been so long since I last watched it.
Maybe in his head.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure. But there is another movie that's very similar to this Kick-Ass actually called Red, and it has it's Rainn Wilson. Is that the guy that plays Dwight from The Office?
Yes.
It has him as the main character, and it's very similar to Kick-Ass in which he dons like a red costume and he goes about like trying to be a superhero, but he's not very skilled in any area to be one, and it's very dark. Myself and a few others would say that it's probably the better version of what Kick-Ass is. I would give it a watch.
I mean, I do love Rainn Wilson, so I might give that a watch.
Very dark. Very dark. Aye. To-do list was mediocre at best, shit at worst. For movies, boys.
Has anyone here watched The Invention of Lying?
Oh, now I have seen it.
What did you make of that one?
It's probably right the thing I've enjoyed Ricky Gervais in most,
Oh,
which is the only good thing I'll say about it.
I have never seen it. I will never see it because I cannot stand Ricky Gervais.
yeah.
The man, I hate him. Can't stand him.
him. I should say it was the thing I'd enjoyed him in most. After Life, you should watch if you hate Ricky Gervais because he has an awful time in it.
It's still him though. It's like it's still his acting.
Yeah, you just watch him suffering though.
I'm not watching him suffering. I mean, it's not enough. I need to see him really suffer. I would never wish that upon anybody, but
I know.
I can't do it. Him, James Corden, Melissa McCarthy, Rebel Wilson, they all come under Jonah Hill. Holy,
he's also
Jonah.
in this film. I'm pretty sure.
All of them I cannot stand for the simple reason they're exactly the same people in every single thing they're in.
Yeah,
you would know it. So,
in fact, I've liked Jonah Hill once and once only, and that's in Wolf of Wall Street because he's not Jonah Hill.
No,
a completely different character. You know what I mean? It fits.
But yeah, this film. I'm not a massive fan of Ricky Gervais either, but I ended up watching it because of just like the basis of what the film's about. It's literally just a fucking world in which lying doesn't exist. Everyone tells the truth. Everyone says what's on their mind. And the guy Ricky Gervais plays as essentially just suddenly in his brain it just snaps and he's like, I am a millionaire. And he goes to like a bank and he's like, give me 200k. And like, oh, your bank it doesn't say you've got this. He's like, I do. He's like, well, must be a problem with the computers. Here you go. So the idea of that kind of interests me enough to watch it. And as I kept going through the film, I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
So Ricky Gervais plays a lying entitled fuck. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
There was one point I thought was slightly funny, which was he grows long hair and a beard, slightly looks like Jesus,
and he invents religion.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's funny.
It's actually quite a good scene, that bit where he invents it, because it's like he's with his mum on her deathbed and she's like, oh, I don't want to die. He's like, oh, but it's fine because you'll be going to this magic place in the sky and you'll be there forever and etc etc. And everyone just kind of goes, oh really?
Oh, what is this?
How do you know this?
He's saying it must be true.
Was there another movie you didn't like? Was My Name Is Dolomite?
Oh yeah, there's a few that I just never finished. That one I actually fell asleep and then turned it off.
I think that just reminded me of the most disappointing film I ever saw, which is Black Dynamite.
I've heard of that.
It was like a spoof. Well, the trailer made it look like quite a funny spoof of like 70s blaxploitation films. But honest to God, I must have watched the trailer about 30, 40 times just because of how funny it was. And then I watched the film and I fell asleep.
Oh no.
It was just dull.
Films that made me fall asleep. Yet again, very controversial.
Say it.
Star Wars.
I knew it.
I think Ken will mind this because this is back when we were still living at Nan's, and we didn't have a couch or anything like that, so we had to sit in the camping chairs. They were getting a new suite, and he was like, "Oh, we can watch the trilogy. We can watch the trilogy." And I'm like, "Ah, fine, fine." I think 30 minutes into the film, I was just out, and I don't sleep ever during the day. So he moved me on to the prequel trilogy instead, which I was still very iffy on.
Yeah.
You disgust me.
You disgust me. Fuck you. But movies that I weren't quite fond of when I watched when I was younger, but I need to give it another watch. I don't know if I could do the 12-hour shift, but Lord of the Rings, I need to get a rewatch.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah, never
19th of December is the 20-year anniversary. We should watch it.
12 hours.
Me and Louise have already put aside the day to watch it.
Good chance that might be the day after my night out as well, so I could be hanging. That would be a good chance to stay in bed, watch it. You've never watched it, have you, Don? Or at least you've seen parts of it.
I've seen parts. I could never get into it. Like, I don't think it's bad in terms of writing. It's just like not my thing. I remember watching one of them. Can't remember which one it was. You'll know, obviously. I watched one of them, very drunk, and the only scene I remember was that "You shall not pass."
Yeah, you need to give it a fresh watch, mate. Because I don't think there's many franchises you can say it with. But this one, well, at least certainly for me, is aged amazingly. Because of all the practical effects they used.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see in December. We'll see how my journey goes with it.
Yeah.
There's another case of when I watched. Oh, there's another controversial opinion. When I watched Lord of the Rings back then, I was pretty like meh with it. But when I watched the Hobbit movies, I was far more intrigued.
I've kind of gone off the Hobbit movies, to be honest.
And when I read The Hobbit as well, my only complaint with the movies is that they could have all just been done in a one-hour. They didn't need a trilogy. It's sort of milking it. I'm pretty sure The Hobbit was shorter than some of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'm of the opposite opinion, where they should have split Lord of the Rings into more movies. Because even at the length of the extended cuts, there was still tons of stuff that was left out.
Yeah.
Like the whole ending was left out. But yeah, I think The Hobbit probably would have been better as 2 films rather than 3.
Probably.
Yeah, at most.
I still quite like putting them on. They're very light-hearted and childish at the end of the day, which is how the original book was written.
Yeah.
Wrote it for his kids, and then obviously then went and did Lord of the Rings to be a much more serious, epic fantasy.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I need to read Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of bad movies talked about.
Yeah, a wide selection.
Surprisingly, a lot of good films talked about as well. It defeated the point of the topic, but alas, good entertainment.
It's only natural. It's the ones you want to talk about. You just end up slowly drifting over to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to be fair, I feel like that's how life should be anyway. Just like focus on the positives. That's why I purge my life of anything to do with Ricky fucking Gervais.
Yeah.
I like Carl Pilkington.
Eh?
I like Carl Pilkington.
Yeah, I like Carl Pilkington as well. He's hilarious.
They should do like like there's director cuts of movies. They should do like a director cut of the An Idiot Abroad where there's no.
Yes.
Because half the time,
100%.
anytime he's on that show, it's literally just him on the phone saying you're an idiot or laughing in his very monkey-like laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Aye. It's good. It's a good topic. Good talking to you. Talking to you.
Aye.
Good podcast. Aye. Okay.
It's been an absolute blast.
Thank you for having you. Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe when K-Mac starts a podcast, we'll get you guys on.
Oh,
Mm.
Oh, I'm busy for that.
Yeah, busy doing more podcasts for me.
No.
Nah, thank you very much for being on.
thank you.
No,
Thanks
anytime.
for having us.
And I guess that's where we'll end the podcast.
I'm still
Yeah.
waiting on that can open, Dylan.
It's been opened earlier. Did you hear it?
Aye, it was very loud and very out of nowhere, and such a
Yes.
very different audio wavelength as well. It was pretty odd.
Very odd.
But alas,
Oh, it was a blast, lads.
goodbye.
Ta-da.